Hello and welcome to another video from Autocraft Equipment. Today's video is going to be on fault codes. We keep getting asked by some customers, how can we use the fault codes and use it for diagnosis? So we're just going to connect up to a system. This one's on, what are we on here? Scania. Hopefully it's going to come up with some issues. Yep. Here we go, we've got a few faults on here. So the first thing to look at when you look at a faults page is the colour of the faults. Now the red ones are important. These are the active faults where there is actually a problem. Amber ones are historical. They're stored in the memory, so you may have disconnected a component and reconnected it again. You might have had a flat battery. That would induce memorized faults like so. So from the active faults that we can see here, we can see the DTC code, which is from the manufacturer. If you can't see it on the initial screen like we're looking at now, you can double tap on the fault code and it will open the DTC fault code for you. Once you've erased the faults with the eraser, error clearing, if the fault has been cleared and repaired, these will all turn green and they will turn to stored. So they will have been taken from the vehicle ECU and just stored on your screen, so you can either save them to a USB stick or you can print them to show your customer. But moving on from here, the first thing we can do is see the icons. These are here to help. Now these icons relate to the 4 buttons along the bottom, and these are all pretty good because it's got 4 of them. So on the one that we're on, oil pressure sensor, I can click the help key, and wow, this gives a lot of information. Not all will be as much as this or as thorough, but it will tell you the error, it will give you the possible causes of the fault and some notes. Warning lamp comes on, and then it will give you a repair procedure. I'm not going to read all that out for obvious reasons. This video will go on and on otherwise. The next one, web help, it's a bit like Google search almost, but for just fault codes. And what this will do is give you a result of the codes that you've looked for, so it will automatically search for the fault that you have highlighted if I press web help on that. I can't do it on demo mode unfortunately, but on a live vehicle you'll be able to see that and the information and the answers that it gives. It's very helpful. The next icon we have is the freeze frame. So if we click it, it shows us the DTC fault code and the hexadecimal code. Not a lot of information on this one. You can have a lot more data, everything related to that fault, but last occurrence, time, date, and number of times it's been triggered. You may also get their speed, temperatures, and some other information. So we'll go back, and the next one we can see will take us straight to the wiring diagram. So if I click that, I've got to tell it what engine we've got, so we'll say a 16 litre. It will take us to the wiring diagram. It will also highlight the part there at the top. And now from here we can also see there is a card of information. It's a generic data sheet, so we'll take a look. It will show you the different types of pressure sensor, component operating principle, so it takes you back to school. And it will also give you your signal and power supply check, your recommended checks obviously here as well, and then using the multimeter to do your wiring checks. So there's a lot of information there within the wiring diagram that will help you. If I just click off there to get rid of those, now you can zoom in and out of these wiring diagrams as you're probably aware. Now there are some icons above the top here. We'll go into this in another tutorial, but if this icon is available next to the printer, this shows me the current flow of the wires. So as you can see, when I move my mouse across the screen, the wires become highlighted, so I can click on a wire. It will then, in this connection information, that disappears if I unclick it, but click it again and it's back. So I can see code E1, pin G3. So code E1 relates to the ECU. How do I know that? Well, you can click the box here for the component list, and if I see E1, engine management control unit. So E1 is the code, G3 was the pin, it says, so it's correct. G3 is the pin code, and it goes to S55, which if I did go down here, S55 oil pressure sensor, pin 1, which it does, that is there. So you can see the pins where you can check your live feeds, your supply to the ECU, and obviously your earth. If you want to know what colours the wires are, the little scroll picture here, look, click that and it will tell you here. Your ground, green is the power supply from control unit, and pink there is the power output signal. Okay, so you could check your wiring for that fault. If your wiring is all good, you're pretty certain it's going to be the pressure sensor that's your issue. And you can test that with the multimeter readings as you saw earlier. So the final thing you can do from there is then check parameters. You can go to your oil pressure sensor, see you've got 0.8 of a volt there, and the pressure is 0.05 bar. And that's pretty much it. You've done all the checks you can do. You know you're getting the feeds, you know you've got your wiring diagrams, you've got your red, amber and green fault code colours, you've got symptom, causes, a repair method, everything's there for you. So with that information you should be able to diagnose and cure your fault. I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the Autocraft channel, share it and like it if you would, and there'll be more videos to see in the near future. Thank you and see you next time.